Okay guys, so using the yellow milk cotton yarn, I'm going to start making Pikachu's body. For that, first we are going to make a slip knot. This is how I make the slip knot. So I'm gonna wrap this yarn end around the index finger of my left hand. Send your right index finger through that loop, twist it, and then send your thumb into the loop like this, and you are going to pull the strand which is over your left index, and this is going to make the first loop. You can insert your hook into that loop. To make the first chain, you are going to send your hook under the yarn strand like this. You're gonna wrap it and you're gonna pull it through that loop. So this is going to be the first chain. You're going to make another one. So I'm using the chain 2 method to make the magic ring. So you are going to insert your hook into the very first chain and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. So that is our first single crochet. You're gonna make 5 more. Two, 3, 4, 5. You can pull from the other end to make it tighter, just like I do in this video. And 6. So this is how your work should look like. This is our row 1. We will be working in a continuous round. Now let's start row 2. For that, you're going to insert the hook into this first stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. That is your first single crochet. You're going to make another single crochet into that same stitch. So you are making 2 single crochet into each of those 6 stitches from round 1. This is known as an increase. So increase is where you make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we are doing 6 increases, and by the end of row 2 we will be having 12 stitches. It is always good to mark your first stitch using a stitch marker. As you can see, I'm using a stitch marker to mark my first stitch because you might forget it, and if you are a complete beginner, this is a very good thing to do. Otherwise you will lose track of your first stitch and you will get confused. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can always use a bobby pin, an earring like a gypsy earring, or another color strand of yarn. Or you can also use the same, you can see that extra tail hanging, you can use that. Okay, so I finished my row number 2. Now for the third row, you are going to place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and into the next you are going to place 2 single crochets. That means you are going to do an increase. So this is my second, and I'm marking my first stitch. Into the third, you're going to place a single crochet again, and into the next an increase. So you're going to place single crochet, increase alternatively until you reach the end of this row. And by the end of this row, you'll be having 18 stitches in total. I'll meet you guys at the end of row 3. Okay, I'm at the end of row 3 and I'm just doing the last increase. This is how your work should look like at the end of row 3. For row 4, into the first stitch, place a single crochet. Into the next, place 2 single crochets. That means you're doing an increase. Into the next, place a single crochet. So the pattern is single crochet, increase, single crochet, and you have to repeat this for 6 times, and you'll be having 24 stitches by the end of row 4. Into the 4th stitch, single crochet, into the 5th, an increase, and into the 6th, a single crochet. So I'll meet you guys by the end of row 4. For the next row, row number 5, you're gonna place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, into the second, place another single crochet, into the third, again a single crochet, and into the 4th stitch, you're going to place 2 single crochets. So the pattern is 3 single crochet increase, and you're gonna continue this until you reach the end of this row. You should have 30 stitches at the end. So this is how it will look like after 5 rows. For the next 5 rows, that means row 6 to 10, we are just going to place single crochets around. So for row 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, you're going to place single crochets around. No any increases, no any changes, just place single crochets around, and I will meet you guys by the end of row 10. I just finished row 10 and this is how it should look like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm at the end of row 10, and for the next row, we are going to do an increase. Place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and into the 3rd stitch, you're going to place 1 single crochet, into the 4th stitch, a single crochet, into the 5th stitch, place 2 single crochets. So you are doing an increase into the 5th stitch. So that is the pattern, 4 single crochets and increase. So you're gonna repeat this for 6 times, and by the end of this row you'll be having 36 stitches. I'll meet you guys at the end of row 11. I just finished row 11, and for the next row, again we will be doing an increase. Place 1 single crochet into the first. Into the next, place 1 single crochet, and into the next, place 1 single crochet. Let me mark my first stitch. So we are at the 3rd stitch now. Into the 4th, you are going to do an increase. Place 1 and 1 more single crochet. Into the next, place a single crochet. Into the next, again a single crochet. So the pattern is 3 single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet. So we are increasing the row by 6 more stitches. So you're gonna repeat this pattern 6 more times until you reach the end of this row, and you will be having 42 stitches at the end. I will meet you guys by the end of row 12. I just finished row 12, and this is how your work should look like. For the next 8 rows, you are just going to place single crochets around. That is going to form the belly part of our Pikachu. So single crochet into each of those stitches from the previous round. No any increases. So you'll be having 42 stitches at the end of each round. You're gonna repeat this for 8 more rows, and I will meet you guys by the end of 8 rows. That means by the end of row 20. I just finished doing 8 more rows of just placing single crochets around, and this is how my work looks like. From here onwards we will be doing decreasing rounds. For row number 21 we are going to place single crochet into the first, single crochet into the second, single crochet into the third stitch, single crochet into the fourth, single crochet into the fifth, and now we are going to single crochet 2 together. We are going to do a decrease. So you are going to send your hook through the front loops of the next 2 stitches, 6th and 7th stitches like this. Pull up a loop. You got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So this is going to form an invisible decrease. Again you are going to just place 5 single crochets for the next 5 stitches and do a decrease. So the pattern is 5 single crochet decrease. Repeat this for 6 times and I'll meet you by the end of this row. You will be having 36 stitches by the end of this row. I'm at the end of row 21 doing my last decrease. So for next row, row number 22, you are going to place a single crochet into the first stitch, into the second a single crochet, and go through the front loops of the third and fourth and place a decrease. For the fifth stitch, place a single crochet. For the sixth, a single crochet. So the pattern is 2 single crochet decrease, 2 single crochet. You are going to repeat this for 6 times. That means till the end of this row, and I will meet you guys by the end of this row. You will be left with 30 stitches. For the next row, row number 23, you are going to place 3 single crochets, single crochet into the first, single crochet into the second, single crochet into the third, and into the fourth and fifth you are going to do a decrease. So the pattern is 3 single crochet, decrease, and by the end of this row you will be left with 24 stitches. Continue this pattern until you reach the end of the row, and I will meet you guys by the end of this row. We have completed 23 rows, and this is what your work should look like right now. Now is a good time to start stuffing in our plushie. So I'm using polyfill. You can use whatever thing you have. You can use scrap yarn, you can use cotton. If you do use cotton wool, it would be a little like harder, like not so squishy. So here I'm using polyfill. Just make sure to stuff in as much as you like, and once you're happy with the amount of stuffing, we'll continue to work our rounds. Okay, so I think it's enough stuffing for me right now, so I'm just gonna start working in my next round. For this round, we are going to place 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Into the second and third, go through the front loops of the stitches and place a decrease. Into the fourth, place a single crochet. So the pattern is single crochet, decrease, single crochet. You are going to repeat this for 6 times. By the end of this row, you will be left with 18 stitches. Okay, so this is how our Pikachu's body looks like, and I'm almost finished. For the next row, we are going to do a decrease around, but if you want, you can always fill it in with more stuffing if you feel like it's not enough. So go into the front loops of the first two stitches, place a decrease, go into the front loops of the next two, place a decrease. Likewise, you are going to decrease until you reach the end of this row, and you will be left with only 6 stitches. You will do total of 6 decreases like this, and you will be left with 6 stitches once you finish this row. I am at the end of that row. Now I'm going to leave a long tail enough to finish this off, and I'm just going to pull that yarn out like this. Next, with the help of a darning needle, we are going to close this opening. You are going to go through the front loops of these final 6 stitches. I just finished going through the front loops of those 6 stitches, and now I'm going to pull it like this, and you can see that the hole gets closed. After that, you are going to send your darning needle through your project, through your work like this, and you are going to hide the tail, hide this excess yarn. The body and the head is complete, so this is one like weird shape like a pear. Next up is the ear. So for this we are starting with black yarn, and you are going to make 3 single crochet in the magic ring. So make a slip knot, make 2 chains, and into the first chain you are going to place 3 single crochets. Working with darker color yarns if you are a complete beginner might be a bit of a challenge. I just completed doing 3 single crochets, and that was row 1. For row 2, place 2 single crochets into the first stitch. That means you are going to do an increase to the very first stitch. Into the next, place a single crochet. Into the next, place 2 single crochets. That means again you are doing an increase. Okay, so now you have 5 stitches at the end of row 2. For the next row, you are going to place 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second, 2 single crochets into the third stitch, and 1 single crochet into the fourth and 1 single crochet into the fifth. So altogether you will be having 7 stitches by the end of row 3. And for row 4, you are just going to place single crochets around. Okay, I am doing the 7th single crochet right now, but I'm not going to complete it. I'm just going to pull up the loop and just stop it right there, and I'm going to join the other yarn, which is yellow, because Pikachu's top part of the ear is black and the bottom is yellow. Remember, I didn't finish that last single crochet. I stopped halfway, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull that second color through those 2 loops and give a little pull back from the black yarn. For this round, place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 single crochets into the second, 1 single crochet into the third stitch, again 2 single crochet into the fourth, 1 single crochet into the fifth, 2 single crochet into the sixth, and 1 single crochet into the seventh. So by the end of this row you will be having 10 stitches in total. Now for the next 5 rows you are just going to repeat doing single crochets around, and of course you can cut off the black yarn because we won't be changing to black again. To make sure that it is in place, you can just secure it with few knots like what I'm doing here. Now just keep on placing single crochets around for the next 5 rounds, and I will meet you guys. I just finished doing 5 more rounds. For the last round of the ear, I am going to place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, into the second and third stitches front loops you are going to send your hook and do a decrease. Into the fourth, place a single crochet, into the next 2, place a decrease, into the next a single crochet, and into the next 2 place a decrease, and finally end it with a single crochet. And by the end of this row you will be having 7 stitches. Now this is 1 ear. You have to follow the same pattern and make another ear. And of course before that we can finish this off. So for that you are going to cut the yarn, leave enough tail to sew it, cut it, and then pull it through. Here are my 2 ears. So next we are going to make the hands and the legs. Make a slip knot, and into the magic ring you are going to place 6 single crochets. That is row 1, and for the next 2 rows, row 2 and 3, you are just going to place single crochets around. No any increases, just single crochets around, and I will meet you. I just finished making the hands, and now I'm gonna leave enough tail to sew it to the body and cut the yarn. This is one hand. You have to repeat the same pattern and make two. I just finished making mine, and next we are going to start making the leg. For that you are going to make 4 chains. Now into the second chain from the hook you are going to place 1 single crochet. Into the next place 1 single crochet, and into the next, that means we are at our first chain now, you are going to place 3 single crochets. So I just placed 1, and now this is my second single crochet, and I'm going to place another one into the same. To the next chain here you are going to place 1 single crochet. Into the next you are going to place 1 single crochet, and into the next you are going to make an increase. By the end of this row you should have 9 stitches. For the next 2 rows you are going to place single crochets around. No any increases or decreases, just place single crochets around, and I will meet you guys by the end of 2 more rows. Here I am done with 2 legs, so this is how it should look like. So you are going to follow the same pattern and make another so that you have 2. After you complete each leg, you are going to leave enough tail to sew it to the body and cut off the yarn. Before I make the tail, I'm going to assemble the parts. So I'm going to start with attaching the ears. So first, before attaching, I'm going to close the opening of the ear like this. Count 2 rows down from the top and start attaching one ear. Similarly, you are going to attach the other ear, just count 2 rows down and in the same line with the other ear, with the first ear. After successfully attaching the 2 ears, this is how your Pikachu should look like. Let's start attaching the legs. So you're going to count about 5 rows from the bottom and in a line with the ear. So it should look like this. These placements can change with your preference. So here I'm just checking which place is good to have the feet of Pikachu. I just placed some I just placed 2 safety pins because that is where I want the eye to be, and I'm doing a little bit of thing here. I don't know what this is called. I'm gonna use a yarn strand like this, and I'm going to let me show you a closer look. And by the way, I'm down at the 9th row, about 9th row, so that is where I want to place the eyes. And it's about 3 columns inwards from the ears column, so I'm really bad at explaining the placements, so that's why you can watch the video and follow it along. Here I am inserting the darning needle about 1 stitch width like this. The 2 eyes are about 4 to 5 stitches apart. Once I finish sending the needle like that, I'm just gonna pull from the 2 yarn ends so that it makes like a curve for the eyes. So that is the effect that I wanted, and this is how I got it. After that, I'm going to place a few knots and secure the yarn strand and hide the extra tail. Okay, so that is done, and now I have to attach the eyes. So I'm gonna glue the eyes onto this like indented part, like the curve inside. Okay, and now we have to attach the arms. I'm going to count about 5 rows down from the eyes like this, and in a line with the eyes just below I'm going to attach the arms right there. And once again, I'm not stuffing it with any polyfills. If you want you can, but I think it's better this way. Now I'm attaching the other arm. You can count about 5 rows above, or just get the measurement from the arm which you have already attached, because that is easier obviously. And just below the eye I can see about 5 stitches between the arms, so that's that, and I'll meet you guys after I finish attaching the arm. Since Pikachu has red cheeks, now I'm going to make the cheeks. So for this, you can skip this part. You don't have to make it using yarn. You can just use red felt material to cut 2 circles and glue it onto the face. I'm gonna make 6 single crochets into the magic ring, and here I'm using acrylic yarn, but the hook size is still the same, 4.5mm. That is 1, you have to make 2, and I'll meet you. After you finish making 2, you are going to attach it to the face. I think using felt to cut out a red circle is going to be easier than this, because you just have to cut the circle and glue it onto the face. But anyway, since I had the brilliant idea to crochet it, because the texture is different, so I wanted this texture, so I crocheted it, and now I'm attaching it to the face like this, like right beside the eye, about 1 row below the eye. And that's done. Now I am going to sew a tiny nose or the mouth. You can take it either way. All that is left is to make the tail. So for that I'm going to make 6 chains. Now into the second chain you are going to place a single crochet. And similarly, you are going to place single crochets until you reach the start of the chain. So you can see I'm placing single crochets until I reach the first chain. Now I'm at the very first chain, placing the final single crochet. Now what you are going to do is you are going to chain 1, just make 1 chain, now you are going to place a single crochet into this stitch here, not to the 1 chain that you did, to the second one. To this stitch here you are going to go through the V shape and place 1 single crochet, and into the next a single crochet, into the next again place a single crochet, and to the last 2 place a single crochet in each. So don't forget this one, you have to place a single crochet here too. And then you are going to make 4 chains and turn your work. Now into the second chain from the hook. This is the first, this is the second. Into the second chain you are going to place 1 single crochet. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Again into the next, place a single crochet. Likewise you are going to keep on placing single crochets until you reach the end of this row. I'm at the end of that row and this is how your work should look like. So next you are going to chain 1 and turn your work, and into this stitch here you are going to insert the hook and place a single crochet. So place single crochets until you reach the end of this row, and you are going to repeat the same thing for 2 more times. Okay, so I'm here after 2 more rows of doing single crochets, and this is what your tail should look like. Now you are going to place 4 chains and 4, and turn your work into the second chain. You are going to place a single crochet and keep on placing single crochets, and you have to stop once you reach to the point where you have to place the last 2 single crochets in this row. Usually you would place single crochets until the end of the row like this, but to get the shape of Pikachu's tail, we are going to undo the last 2. That means you are not going to single crochet all the way till you reach the end. You're going to stop here and chain 1 and keep on making single crochets just like before. So now you chain 1, turn your work and place single crochets until you reach the end of this row. And you are going to repeat this for 4 more times. This is how your tail should look like so far, and as I said earlier, you have to chain 1, turn your work and do the same thing. You're just going to place single crochets until you reach the very end of this row. We are going to make this up to a certain height. To achieve that height, you have to make this for 4 more times, and I'll meet you guys at the end. I'm at the end, placing the final single crochets of the 4th single crochet row that I was doing, and next we are again going to add 4 chains. So this is how it should look like. Now again add 4 more chains, and you're going to repeat the same thing. Into the second chain you are going to place single crochet and keep on placing single crochets until you reach the 3rd chain from the end of this row and stop it there. After that you are going to chain 1 and repeat the same thing for 5 more rows. I'm at the 3rd chain from the end, 3rd stitch from the end. Now I'm gonna stop it, chain 1, turn my work and single crochet all the way till I reach the end of the row. And you are going to do this for, including this row, for 5 rows. Okay, I'm just placing the final single crochets of the tail, and you are going to make 2. Follow the same pattern, you have to make 2, and I'm going to leave a long tail from this side, this part that I made, to attach the 2 tail parts together. You'll understand in a minute what I'm saying. So I'm gonna leave a long tail like this and finish it off. And the 2 tail parts are done. Now next we are going to join these 2 sides together two parts together and fill it in with a little bit of polyfill. Place the two sides on top of each other like this and sew around. This is how I join the two parts together, so I'm going to go alternatively to each side, and I'm not going to finish sewing all around because I need a space to fill it in with polyfill. I'll meet you guys when I'm halfway done. Now I am filling it in with some polyfill, not too much because I don't want it to be all like puffy. I just want it to be able to stand on its own, like not like so bendy. So I just fill it in with a bit of polyfill, and now I am continuing to sew and fill as we go. The tail is complete. I have cut out these two stripes from brown felt material because Pikachu has two stripes on his back, and I'm going to glue it onto the back. Now it's time to fix the tail. Remember the side, you can fix it like this. Since I didn't have enough yarn strand left after I joined the two sides, I'm going to use another yarn strand and connect the tail to the body. I'm counting about 5 to 6 rows from the bottom to join the tail. As you can see, I'm also going through middle part of the tail and the body. By doing this, I can get the tail kind of like seated to behind the body. As you can see, just like this, go somewhere on top of the tail and the body alternatively, so it kind of like seats there. After finishing, I will just tie a few knots to secure and hide the extra yarn. And that's it guys, so Pikachu is finally complete. And by the way, just for a fun fact, I finished watching 2 series of Pokemon, and I must say that Pikachu is not only my favorite, I like Piplup because he's so cute. So, and Turtwig, Chimchar. So let me know if you want me to kind of like start a Pokemon crochet series and which Pokemon I should crochet next. I hope you guys enjoy making him, and if you have any questions or issues, please comment down below and make sure to let me know which crochet Pokemon you want to see next. And of course, if you want, you can support me on my Insta, my coffee shop, etc, etc. All the links will be down below. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll meet you guys in my next tutorial. Bye bye.